Quick story time. Another client of mine, he had a brokerage company that insured trucking companies. Back in the time where COVID happened, they had the PPP loans and the SBA loans. He had received the PPP loans, and he had received an email from someone saying that they could help him get the government loans, the SBA loans. So without thinking, he responded to that email, and on top of him responding to the email, he initiated the person to help him get the SBA loan. They request a lot of his documents, a lot of his personal information. He gave it to them. In the process, now, when you got the SBA loan, it was a very easy process. All you had to do was go to that website, put the information in, put your business information in, and then they would respond to you and ask you for your corporate documents. And it was just that easy. You got the loan. But with him, he sent all of the information. Guess what, you guys? Person came back and said, okay, we are ready. We can process it. What we need from you is they need a $60,000 deposit to ensure that the loan will go through. He sends them the $60,000. He waits a few weeks or whatever. Then he reaches back out and they say, oh yeah, they came back and said instead of the 60, they need another 47,000. So he sent the 47,000. By the time he figured out that this was fraud, he had lost over $107,000. When he reached out to me to help them to get their books together and everything, we did that. We put everything together. And when I seen that, I said, listen, for the SBA loan, you shouldn't have never done that. Showed him the website. Boom, boom. That's neither here nor there. He lost the money. So because he had lost the money, he was cash flow broke. And he wanted to try to get himself out of that. So he decided to do a partnership to get the money, from this person to help pay off some of the debt that he had created from being frauded out of that money, right? So he formed this partnership with the guy, and he didn't even think about it, didn't do any research. Everything sounded good, so he did it. And in the process, it took him like 3 months, and he learned that it wasn't a good situation. So him and the partnership had a disagreement in the guy. And at that moment, he was sitting at his desk, and someone told him to go to the bank. He went to the bank. The guy was at the bank, and he was going to clean his bank account out. So he removed the guy's name off of the bank. But the guy took him to court, right? Because he had signed the agreement. He had signed away 51% of his business. Who does a partnership and give the partner more percentage in the business than themselves? And you created it. You the one who built it. So he ended up having to give the guy 51% of his business that was valued at like $300,000 or $400,000. So this guy gave him approximately $30,000 or $40,000, and to get him removed from the business, he ended up having to pay him almost $250,000 once it all was said and done. And the reason why I tell this story is because he made business decisions that put him where his cash flow. He didn't have the cash flow, and because he was desperate, he partnered with someone to get quick cash to try to pay off some of the debt that he had, and he made his situation worse. We have to slow down. We have to ask questions. We have to read. We have to research before we put our name or our signature on anything binding us with a person that you have no idea who it is. And another thing, when you're forming these partnerships, look and spend time with that person. Because if that person has a bad attitude or a bad reputation, it follows you.